Teen Sports listeners. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We welcome you all to join us
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. This is a whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes and all the people and all those wonderful businesses that support those athletes. Put your hands together. Woo! Man, oh man, if you're looking at the site, if you check out We Care 805, you're going to see we have a new one. We've actually got 3 new nonprofits, and I could cry, okay? Westmont College is on the board. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Now that Westmont is up there, they all are calling. You know, isn't that cool? Yeah. Westmont gives its blessings. Yeah, we're legit now, huh?
We're creating a community.
That's it. I liking it, huh? It's all about taking care of the kids. How can you go wrong when you're taking care of kids? Am I right? Speaking of kids, we've got our teen co-host, my little queen, Josie McCoy's in the house. Josie, woo! How you doing, Josie?
I actually prefer young adult. However, I am good.
That's nice.
I'm back.
Yeah, I like it. You're working. You're going to school. Same old, same old.
Yep, working, school. I graduate this year. This is next semester.
Woo!
And then
graduate to what?
To adult.
To adult.
To adult.
Duh. I graduate with a criminology degree from City College, and then I'm working at an IT company called Nova Coast, and just having fun.
There you go. So what do you want to go after, though, serious?
I am hoping to go to school, Georgetown in D.C., or a school in New York, John Jay, which is in Manhattan. Ooh. So we'll see. We're East Coast.
That's it. You got to get the attitude. Yep. That's what you need, more attitude.
That's why I hang out with you.
That's it. Most definitely. All right. To your right, we got Brian Falk. How you doing,
yes,
Brian?
Very good. Thank you.
Brian, stop.
Wow,
yeah.
Come on.
Oh, come on, louder. I know, slow.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
I see you brought your little box.
Always.
You must have heard about my hip injury.
I did.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
You know what I did?
It was a car incident.
I got out of the car. You're right.
Yeah.
I got out of the car. That was the incident. Yeah. And then
how did that happen?
No, if it wasn't for the steering wheel, I would have fell. I mean, I was hanging on.
That's what they're there for.
I know. Well, my car was higher for whatever reason. I don't know.
The new Range Rover.
Yeah, well, I was holding on. I was like, help me. Like I was hanging off a cliff. And then, my right side. Thank God for Dr. Scott Noble. I did call you.
Yes,
okay.
you did.
But then I had a bunch of calls and everything. And I needed somebody like, lunch. Do you have like 15 minutes during lunch? So, of course, he throws me on the table, does his little breathing thing that he does. And it's great because, like you, he's very gentle.
Yeah.
And I didn't even feel like I had you feel things like energy-wise. And then it's funny because he had that like Dr. Andrea effect where like 2 hours later, I turn my head to the right and my whole back cracks. I'm like,
you got hypnotized is what happened.
I guess is what it is. And I just like turned to the left. It was good.
Great.
And then, I had to enter the car on the passenger side, though, and like crawl over because getting that right hip up, was just like,
ingenious. You got to be creative like that.
I did that. And then, you could go through the back on my car, too.
Right.
You could crawl through if you wanted to go like jungle.
Yeah. Jungle
but
style.
It was all right.
Good.
It was all good.
Good.
How's biz going?
Good. Very well. Yeah.
You brought your needles and I should call them filaments.
Yeah, always got my needles.
I like the needles.
This is actually from Dominique. She brought some frankincense. This is her oil, but I'm still doing all the crazy oils and stuff.
What is that?
I think you're a month late or 11 months early.
Frankincense is good stuff. You could use it for just about everything. This is one of those. Yeah, stress.
Is it edible?
Maybe.
No, because I know she was always dropping stuff in water.
What?
I don't know.
Actually, this is one oil that I wanted to try for athletes before sports and games because there's a lot of really interesting studies that are coming out showing oils before games help with performance and relaxations. And frankincense is one of those balancing oils. So
nice.
If you want to try this one, any athletes out there want to put a little oil on before games, or practice, it's worth it.
Yeah. Brian, we love you.
Oh, I love you too. Oh my God.
All right. Then we've got to your right, we've got Dr. Scott Noble. How you doing, Scott?
I'm great. How you doing, Erica?
Well, I'm doing much better because I can walk now, so thank you.
Oh, good. And,
I appreciate that.
and it's great that your body was self-adjusting after we, released a little of the tension around your spinal cord.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, we're all designed to self-correct, right? So
Yeah.
create a little more space, and away you go.
Yeah, no, it was good. I remember the exact place. It's like, Erica, turn, crunch. Oh, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging me, because it would have never happened unless somebody yelled my name,
There you go.
Even if they yelled anybody else's name, I would have turned, because I needed to get that turn.
Yeah.
I think what had happened was, what started it is Dominique buys me this little thing for Christmas, okay, and I threw it under the bed, all right, and let's talk about it. Dominique Hackett is here. Say hi.
Hello, Erica.
Okay, so she's trying to help me, because everyone's like, those little weight loss trolleys or whatever, to do a core training. So it's like this little pad, and you can...
It's a circular pad on top of another circular pad.
Yeah. So anyway, I jump on it. Of course, I think I could do it for like a half an hour, because then after that, I'm in like cardiac arrest, okay? And then the next day, I can't walk. So what you have to do when you get these new toys, anybody that gets these new toys for Christmas, let me tell you
Ease
straight
into it,
up.
people.
Right. Your mind thinks you could do it for a long time, because you really don't feel the effects in that, during that time. But then what happens is you do it, and then a couple of days goes by, and it's true. Like the second day is what knocks you on your
Yeah,
fanny.
you used muscles that you haven't been using.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I mean, no.
So
do those.
next time we'll do it for 30 seconds instead of 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, I did it for like 30 minutes. No, I didn't stop. I was watching something, and I was moving, and I was going. It was good. I was doing the twist, and then you had said, bend your knees, stick out your butt. You were giving me the instructions to really hurt myself.
Good posture. I was trying to get you into good posture.
Erica, my favorite workout is a lunge and a crunch, and if you combine them, you get lunch.
Come on, write that down. Oh, that is that's good.
Crunch,
one.
crunch.
Crunch, crunch. Dominique, my chief happiness officer, we got to go to break. Tell me something, make me happy.
Yes, really fast.
Okay.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, later on, I'm going to talk to you about a fire ceremony.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I wanted to throw somebody in that fire.
No,
but
no.
You walked me through it.
Yes, I did.
And helped me deal with my anger.
Yeah, it's
and
for
I asked
your
if I could just
benefit.
have a lock of hair.
It's not
That's
for
all I
burning
wanted
up
to
other
do.
people.
No, then I said, can I throw it in the freezer? I
walking
said,
on
no.
coals?
Yes, no, it's really good. Last but not least, we got 20 seconds, but let's put our hands together for Dr. D. Woo! Yeah, he's the guy that does everything. He does all the commercials that we donate. He produces the show. He does everything. Dr. D, we love you. On that, it's go time. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Tea. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. And Dominique, where else are we?
We are on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and we have a new URL, SBTSR.com.
Sweet! Woo! Put your hands together. I love that URL. I put that SBTSR.com on everything. On 2015, all of our stuff has got SBTSR. How many times, Dominique? We've had sadly have to go to hospital the last couple of weeks here, visiting a relative of yours. And how many people have stopped and asked what it was?
At
Pretty
least
cool.
15.
Yeah, it was really
wonderful.
nice. Not that the old logo was bad. We have that little patch on the front, but it's kind of cool when you have that like SBTSR out there. It's awesome.
The old logo was designed by a student.
Yes,
It's
Tommy
precious.
Igen on a napkin. I told him he was brilliant, and we launched. It was wonderful. And we did. We launched off of a napkin. I just wanted you to know anybody didn't understand how it started. It's a napkin, actually.
7th grade idea and a napkin icon. That's how it was launched.
Yeah. Hey, since you're on the mic, who did you bring today?
I brought my good friend Charlie Fling.
Charlie Fling is in the house! Woo! All right. Charlie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Another St. Raphaelian in my son's class, and Charlie has always been. Every time I think back on you, it's just like I think.
She gonna tell a story?
Yeah, I got to tell a story. I think it goes back to Joe Bittner's class. I know we got to talk about Joe Bittner's class. Joe Bittner, preschool teacher at St. Raphael's, and I think would you agree that she's the one who kind of set your life in motion?
Yes, she likes to take claim for my career path. We had a trip to the moon, and we all would cut out milk cartons and we put them on as like they were our spaceship helmets, and then
I remember that.
Yeah. And then we like watched a television screen of us like launching and going to the moon, and apparently in my eyes was like the most amazed look, and she likes to take claim that she's the reason I'm becoming an astrophysicist.
Charlie becomes an astrophysicist of that, and I was the kid running into the wall seeing if it worked like a helmet.
But I thought she just coming to the moon to visit me. Woo! It's like, whoa, out there. I used to love to crawl in there with you guys. I actually, for year after year, I didn't do it this year, but I've got to order them. They have the Super Balls, and they glow in the dark. And the kids have loved those things. They bounce and they glow and everything like that for the whole moon little trip. It was kind of cool. Got to do that. Thanks. That's a reminder message.
I thought you were going to tell the story about our free throw.
Oh,
You told that last time.
all right. Well, let's it's not we can reminisce. Okay, that you single-handedly, okay, at the end of the game, secured our win in the Catholic League championship for 8th grade. So, which is it was pretty gnarly. And the funny thing is like there's no time left, and you had 2 shots, and the first one
Against Crane,
and the first one it just kind of like. It was like a frozen duck. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say what it was. It was just kind of like, you actually almost hit a splat against the backboard. But I believed, and I knew you were going to make the adjustment as any good astrophysicist would. Okay?
I was laughing.
Yes. And then the second one, she just, as soon as she let it go, I'm like, net. And it was just, and then we held back on defense for like 8-10 seconds, whatever. We got the rebound. Boom, won the game. And I got to say, you'll never forget that. I mean, I know
You won't let me forget that. So many times.
Way we can forget that.
Every time the girls get together at my house, like once a year, we have to relive the whole thing. But that's because you guys, when you're at a school your whole life, from preschool to 8th grade, I mean, it's kind of like that's like the biggest, gigantic chapter, of your life. So it's something you forget. And these kids that you've been with, your friends, you'll be your friends for life as well. So you're lucky, very blessed. So
it's a shame I can't put that on my college apps.
I want to hear what Charlie's up to right now.
I know.
She's doing a sport that is really interesting.
Talk about it. Tell us how you got started and talk about the school and the whole thing.
I go to the University of St. Andrews, and when I got there, I joined the University Boat Club, so I'm on the rowing team, or as it's called in the United States, crew. And I've been doing that for a year and a half now. But our club is taking a really interesting direction. We finally got funding from the university, and we hired a coach. And
nice!
So,
Woo! Like it.
Yeah, and so we were trying to aim for the Henley Royal Regatta, which is one of the biggest races for crew in the world. And so we are working up towards that now. And we've been training a lot and upping our schedule from a lot more than we were last year. So
it's wintertime. Tell me what the temperature is when you jump in there and start rowing.
It's Scotland, obviously, so it's quite cold, but we row in a river that the water temperature is about 42 degrees in the winter.
Oh, my God.
And air temperature is in the mid-30s. We also don't have a dock because of where we are in the river, so we have to do a wet launch. So we have to hold the boat overhead, flip it into the water, go about thigh deep, and then jump into the boat and row. It's a bit cold.
That's invigorating.
Wow.
Yes. And it's usually like early morning. So
Wow. Did you say that was in Scotland?
yeah, Scotland.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like another country. That's far.
Yes.
I have to ask, do you wear kilts?
Some people do.
Okay.
I don't. I think that would be a little disrespectful for the people that wear kilts.
Right.
She does play the bagpipe, though, in case you were wondering.
I was.
That's
And
awesome.
That's fantastic. That's really cool.
That's not easy on the body, right? That's pretty strenuous, right?
Not the bagpipes, rowing, it's probably one of the most difficult things I've done. I get my butt kicked twice a day, every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's enjoyable.
Talk about where you guys spring train and stuff like that, because I think it's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it obviously is really cold. So during our spring break, we usually take a trip to mainland Europe and use facilities there and row. So last year we went to Amsterdam and we were rowing on the canals.
Oh, cool.
Just outside of Amsterdam. And this year we're going to northern Spain.
Wow.
And so we're rowing on this really beautiful, like 1 mile lake in Spain.
Wow,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Are there any cheers that are kind of like native to Scotland, like to just kind of get you guys energized and
That's a good question.
No, I don't know.
All right, what's kind of the fun, most interesting colloquialism or just terms that you hear there that you might not hear in American speak?
There's a lot culturally and in language that you don't realize is different until you get there and someone says something and you're like, what does that mean? Like, someone tell me what that means. But I can't put me on the spot. I can't quite think of any.
Pants.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Pants refers to underwear, and trousers refers to pants. So if you're like, I'm wearing a dress today, I'm not wearing pants, people would think you're not wearing underwear. Which has gotten me into some interesting situations before, where I've gotten probably a little too red. But yeah, that's probably the funniest one. The one that causes the most laughter.
What accomplishments has your team accomplished?
Last year I was on the novice team, so that is anyone in their first year of rowing. And when you do some sort of like a collegiate rowing novice program is very big. And so our team, which we had never been in a boat before, and the first time we were in a boat, it was pretty funny. Couldn't really figure out how to work the oars or anything. But by the time we finished British Championships in May, our boat came in 14th. In the country, in all of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah! Nice. All right, so let's talk about what are you going to do this year. When is your season run?
It's an all-year-long season, and so in the fall we have head races, which are longer races, so about like 6 or 7 kilometers. And then in the spring we have 2-kilometer races, so in end of April and May, and the Henley Royal Regatta, which you have to get invited to, which we're trying to. Those are 2 kilometers, which are a sprint, the ones you see in the Olympics, the really intense ones, and the really fast ones, and those are the most fun. So that's what we're training for this semester.
Is there any site on the internet where we can see a clip of you rowing?
Yes, we have a YouTube page. I think it's under the University of St. Andrews Boat Club. If you look that up, we have quite a few videos on there of us training where we row, the river we row on, and the sunrises and sunsets, which are beautiful.
Last question, then we got to go to break. So you have a coach now, correct? Mm-hmm. So how has that helped your team?
A lot, actually. It's hard when you have students running other students to remain objective, and so a coach has really kind of kicked us in gear and given us goals, tangible goals to achieve in short term and long term, and really upped our training schedule and pushing us quite a bit.
Nice. Yeah, you could be pushed. Yeah, you react to that. I like that. Push it. It's push it. Hey, this is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We've got to take a break. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in every single Tuesday at 9 a.m. right after the news. And we are so blessed to have Josie and McCoy back. How you doing, Josie? Woo! Where else are we, Josie? This is a test.
We are on the internet. Don't be fooled. We're on Facebook.
There is no substitute.
We are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram.
That's it.
And we have a new logo. It's SBRS.
No, SB.
Little dyslexia in there.
I know, that's cute. Well, thank goodness with the next guest, will help you out with everything. Okay. SBTSR.com. Pretty good. I like that. It's so cute. Dominique, who did you bring for a guest today?
I brought my very best friend, Juli Shulem, who is she's also an efficiency coach, but my favorite thing is her specialty is ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, any kind of thing that kind of scrambles your brain where you're going, wow, I wish life was easier.
Yeah. I got to just, before we say hi, Juli, you know, it's so trippy because I had to go to the hospital. We've been visiting a relative of Dominique. So we went by this I stopped and I looked and I'm like, wow, this is, all the art. If you haven't been in the hospital, I mean, I don't know anybody who wished to go to the hospital, but the art that they have in the hospital that they have there is amazing. It's like almost like a museum.
It is like a museum.
Stunning.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm going through there and all of a sudden I'm like literally walking. Okay.
We're talking about Santa Barbara Cottage
Hospital.
Main downtown.
Yeah, main downtown one, right. So I literally stopped and I'm just like in awe. And I'm like, I didn't know what it was. It's not a painting. It's not and then I was with Dominique and she goes, that's a tapestry. And I'm like, that's a
quilt.
A quilt.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, so that's not a tapestry.
Textile.
Textile. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. So anyway, but I was looking, I still liked it. Regardless of what it was, I liked it. Okay. And then all of a sudden she goes, go look at the thing. And I see your name.
Thing would be the name. Yes.
Wow. I'm like, wow. I said, invite her back to the show. You see? All you gotta do is be famous, and then I want you. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say. Sorry. All right.
You're so funny.
A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Apparently. I'm making 2 more for the next hospital.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, I was working on this morning, which, my studio's all set up for my 3rd out of the...
I mean, that's one of the things that you do, but how'd you get started on the whole... That looks so quilting. How did you get started on it? Since you were a kid, or you just picked it up,
actually, I couldn't sew at all. I couldn't even thread the sewing machine when I wanted to start quilting. So first, I had to learn how to use the machine. But I've been an artist my whole life, and I actually have an art degree, and I was pre-med bio, so it was kind of a weird combination. I was a medical illustrator, of all things. It worked, and I had always looked at quilts and thought they were really neat, but I'm not really into the old-fashioned granny quilt things. I'm into the art quilts. So creating art out of fabric. So the piece that you saw at the hospital, it's called Sima Linda Vista, and that piece is entirely applique and airbrushed. So it's beautiful. It's sort of painting a little bit. But nice. Yeah, so it was really fun.
I had the privilege of watching Juli do this piece of art from beginning to finish. And when I saw it mounted on the wall, I cried. It is so beautiful. So I highly recommend. It's on the second floor.
Right next
on
to
the second
sacred
floor,
space.
Next to the sacred space. If you do have an opportunity where you're visiting a relative or a friend in the hospital, I do recommend you wander around and look at the beautiful artwork. It's very healing.
And if anybody wants to see my artwork, it's up on the 5th floor.
There is no 5th floor.
Exactly.
And even the sacred space at that hospital is beautiful.
Gorgeous. The art there is also
it's
exquisite.
Amazing. And to have your piece positioned where it is, I mean, what a blessing. It's a beautiful
It was amazing.
piece.
It was.
Beautiful.
They have 650 pieces of art in the hospital, and not that you asked about what the history of this is, but I'm going to tell you anyway because it's actually kind of cool. But there were over 400 artists that submitted portfolios, and there were 30 what they called landscape options, which was a huge piece on a huge wall. And I decided I wanted to do one of those. I had never done anything that large before, but why not? And they ended up selecting 123, I think it was, artists, and mine was the only textile piece commissioned for the entire collection.
Woo! Yeah!
So that was kind of cool. Thank you. No, it was just I was pleased because it represented our quilt community. We have over 200 members of our quilt guild actually in Santa Barbara, and quilting is huge. I'm actually a speaker on the quilting circuit too in organizing. So. Yeah, kind of cool.
All right. Well, your other incredible specialty is ADHD and helping kids be successful in school. And I love the work that you do with kids. For me, with my dyslexia and everything and my challenges in work and business and learning and stuff, you help me feel like my challenges were actually my asset. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, and that's what I love to do when I work with a new client for the first time. And I love working with my high school and college teens because this is a time when they can really learn how to maximize the skills that they have and not look at them as deficits. ADHD, I don't look at it as a disorder. It's a difference, and we all learn differently, and we all have skills and weaknesses and strengths. And I help them to really look at the fact that ADHD, if they even have a diagnosis, does not define them. And this is something that you have actually, I call superpowers. So that hyper-focus mode that ADHD people can get into is so awesome as long as you can harness it and utilize it. It's fantastic.
I call it getting jacked.
What?
Because you don't have any of that kind of energy. No.
And there is great energy. And, as long as you can learn some of the skills for the areas that aren't quite as easy to live with. So organizing, sequencing, prioritizing, scheduling, those are the areas that my clients tend to have the most difficult time with. And those are the things that I teach them so that they can utilize. And a lot of people, whether they have ADHD or not, could use a lot of those skills because most people just are disorganized and don't know how to manage time.
Or you just make sure you hook up with everybody that you take your worst assets and your friends become those best assets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dominique,
she's
the best organizer there is. So I'll just throw it out to her. Okay, make sure we do this, and she loves it.
Yes.
It's like, I'm like,
yes.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. No,
but
seriously.
see, our teens don't have,
religious. You know what
and
I mean?
they don't have the ability to be able to, to take care of a lot of these things on their own. When they graduate high school, they are then thrown into this environment where they now have to not only take care of managing all of their studies, getting to classes, which is no longer 8 to 5 or 8 to 3. I mean, there's a random schedule, and now they have to learn how am I going to get food for myself? How am I going to do my laundry? Oh my goodness. I was in line behind a guy at Kmart. This was hysterical. Finals time. He was buying boxers. Why? Because he did not have time to do his laundry, and that was easier to go and just buy more underwear.
Yeah. It seems reasonable.
I worked for him.
It's easier to buy a whole new set of dishes.
Exactly. So there are, these are coping mechanisms. Whatever works. And we talk about those. But it's just, learning the skills in order to make your life work. And that's what I'm working on now, is really focusing my time on graduating seniors. High school. Mm-hmm.
The thing that I love is that when I share with you some of my coping mechanisms, you made me feel like I was succeeding and I was successful rather than that I wasn't less than perfect.
No, it's always positive.
It's great to hear this because there's so many people with this need right now, especially. It seems to be getting more prevalent too, and so in our culture. So it's great to hear your work.
Thank you. I love my work. I really, really, really do. It's awesome. It just makes me so happy.
I don't want you to go anywhere, but we got the little smushy sign here from Dr. D. That means it is go time. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. Hey, guys, make sure you check out that We Care 805. We got some great nonprofits on board. And if you're interested, anybody out there interested would like to make a nice donation, all the rules are up there. You want to make a donation. We've got a lot of things that we'd like to give away. Of course, your check goes directly to one of those named nonprofits. We'd love to support your business. We have a highly trafficked site, over 100,000 hits a month. We broke 1 million hits in 2014. We raised over $100,000 for our teens in Santa Barbara. Put your hands together. Woo! So if you want to put out a business ad, those business ads work. And again, all the money, 100%. Nothing goes to Teen Sports Radio. It goes back to the kids, and you have a choice. And it's like
directly to my college fund.
Exactly.
She needs a lot of it. Donate.
Exactly. All right, we're very blessed to have Juli Shulem in the house. How you doing, Juli?
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Dr. Scott had a question.
Okay.
Juli, something that you mentioned in the last segment briefly was if a kid actually has the diagnosis, and I'm going to go out on a limb here a little bit, that we're in a society right now that loves its diagnosis and likes to kind of put these on other people as often as possible. I'd also like to suggest that can be a burden that people carry with them and even be something that forms part of their identity. Could you speak a little bit of this and about how ADHD is misdiagnosed?
Yes, absolutely. Good question. Well, a lot of the people that come to me, they are suspicious they have ADHD, but they haven't actually had a diagnosis. We're getting a lot more adults that are diagnosed with ADHD. And interestingly, it helps them feel better. believe it or not, because they've always had the challenges their whole life of being disorganized, not being able to complete things, impulsivity, and all the things that go with ADHD. But they had no reason, so they were called lazy, stupid, and all kinds of other names that are not pleasant. And now they had an actual diagnosis, a reason, something that said, "Oh, no, this is what it is, and you're not broken." You're just different. And so for adults, it's actually been a relief for everyone that I speak with. They're like, okay, that made me feel much better. For kids, it can be a bit of a burden because then they're feeling labeled. And one of the things we have to be really cautious about is making sure that when they're in school, they are not isolated and looked at differently. Teachers can't go up and say, okay, well, yeah, you with the learning disabilities and ADHD, you guys are going to go over here, or separate them out in any way. And that's one of the big things that we always are working with is helping to improve the self-esteem of children, because they have the challenges, whether they have a label or not, it makes no difference. They're suffering from the inability to be able to do the things that they'd like to.
Yeah, I've heard that there's a certain percentage anyway of kids that are actually really sharp, and they're processing information a lot quicker, and they're bored.
Yep.
And that this can translate as being, lacking focus, when in actuality they've already processed everything.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah.
They're over it. They moved on. Yes, and the majority of the people with ADHD, the ones that I've worked with, are really smart.
Yeah.
And it's staying on top of them is really quite a challenge, because they're really, really on it, and their brains go really quickly. And this is awesome. They should be commended for that and help to move forward. So a lot of it.
What other mechanisms other than organization would you lift a kid like that up? Somebody who's just really ahead in a way. How would you actually help them shine more?
Find things that they like to do. Find other things they like to do. Get them engaged in other activities, not just schoolwork, for example. It's like, okay, what else can you do? What else do you like to do? Feed their interests. Okay. Exactly. My own son is a perfect example of that, and he always was involved in so many different things. Yeah, there's school, but there's 14,000 other things I like to do too. And he's one of those kids, really, really sharp, really ahead, bored as all can be in school.
Yeah.
So
and that can also be one of the ways that kids define themselves for future college pursuits, and never mind actually having a life outside of your work. So that's a great thing to feed.
Absolutely.
Juli, let's have your contact information.
So you can reach me and find me very easily. My website is CoachJuli.com. Juli is spelled Juli. There is no E at the end of that. So CoachJuli.com, and I have a very, very prolific blog with lots of information on organizing, time management, how to deal with ADHD for all ages.
Nice.
And from there, go ahead and subscribe. There's no charge. You're not going to get spammed or anything.
We already like the way you live.
Just
we
go.
love that.
And it's just all kinds of cool stuff there.
Nice.
And it's all free. Take it.
I love free.
Yeah, free
good.
good.
For free.
Thank you.
Like that. Hey, we've got more guests, and I want you to stick around, all right?
I will be here.
And I don't want to take a break right now. I just want to shoot it right over to Dr. Scott Noble. Brought a beautiful guest in-house today. Who do we got?
Well, we have Dr. Jessie Carroll, and I'm very pleased to introduce her. She's an intelligent and interesting, one of the most altruistic people I've met in a long time.
Nice.
She's a doctor of naturopathic medicine, and recently returned to Santa Barbara after a time away, finding that this is really her home.
Nice, put your hands together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thanks. It's so I have never heard of, I can't even say it. I'll say it wrong.
Naturopathic medicine.
Natural medicine.
What? Naturopathic.
Like osteopathic.
I like
naturo.
Struggling.
Yeah.
Can you say it one more time?
I hate you.
Just come again? What?
I know. I'm not going to do it. I don't have to play. I'm not playing in your
Close
world.
enough.
I'm not playing in your world. Welcome. That's all I can say. Welcome. Can you? So let's talk about that. What is it? What is that?
So naturopathic medicine, it's a primary care approach. So it's right in line with MD, DO, and then we have NDs. Oh. And here in California, our scope of practice is pretty much the same, except when it comes to prescribing drugs, then we're with your nurse practitioners and physician assistants. Oh. But we still have all of the same training. We actually are trained more in depth in the basic sciences, biochemistry, physiology, anatomy, than our conventional medical counterparts. And in addition to those standard trainings that doctors go through, we're also given courses in botanical medicine, herbal medicine, homeopathy, counseling, physical medicine. So things like massage therapy, physical therapy, hydrotherapy.
Aromatherapy?
Yeah, actually that wasn't included in the program, but I did do an essential oil therapy course certification too.
Awesome.
So, we're focused here on, teens. So you were a teen in this town.
I was.
Or in a neighboring town and very athletic.
Yeah.
Something that I think, having talked to you a little bit beforehand, what advice would you give you back then? What did you hear in as far as a conventional medical approaches as advice, and how would you do it a little different, knowing all these things you know?
Right. So when I was younger, I did participate in a lot of sports, and I had various health issues. I had headaches and fatigue and joint pain and digestive issues, and all of these things. When I would go to the doctor, they would just say, "Oh, that's normal. That's just your body. Get used to it, push through it, and here's some ibuprofen, here's some migraine medication," that kind of stuff. And really, I just always had the sense that wasn't the whole story. I didn't fully buy it. I felt like I had been healthier before. I had felt better before. There had to be a way to get me back there. And having gone through this study of medicine that really looks at the whole person, what's going on with them, not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, how we connect to the world around us, and then just learning all about my body and how it can really prosper and thrive and be healthy. Different treatments I learned that I would love to share with teenagers today that I wish someone had told me was the impact of what I was eating on my health, how I felt, how certain foods can lead to low-grade inflammation in your whole body. So no matter what, your joints are going to hurt. You're going to have headaches. And that it could be as simple as just removing one food from my diet, or maybe drinking more water, getting more sleep, things like that are fundamental to really creating health in our system. That was never presented to me when I was younger as an option. And I really would love to share that with teenagers here in town, that you can take care of yourself that way.
That's really awesome. I remember as a kid, I went through a lot of the same things where I had ailments and stuff, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And knowing and trusting the body, trusting that the body is giving you information, I think that's huge, a huge gift to teens.
Yeah, and one of the guiding principles of naturopathic medicine is that the body can heal itself. And we really function to remove obstacles to that healing and support the body where it's needed so that it can complete those processes. And yeah, it's just...
It's very similar to chiropractic, where we're enhancing we call it innate intelligence. You had another name for it.
Yeah,
I like this.
We call it the vis, kind of like the healing power of nature. Just... it happens. You cut your finger, you don't need medicine to fix it. It's going to happen, and your whole body works that way. And we tend to be taught that if we have an ailment, that's it. You can have a pill that can cover up the symptom, but that's not the full story.
Hey, we're all in awe. Everyone's got their mouth open wide, like anacondas. Okay, we're going to take a little break. Hey, folks, listen to those commercials that we've had out there. They're all gifted, and all these people that you're listening to, they're really doing the extra to support our teen athletes. So if you see them in the community, give them a hug. All right, we're going to take a short break. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. Hey, we've got great co-hosts today. Awesome Josie.
The best co-host.
Yes, we do, huh, Josie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. And we've got, I guess we have to, I hope I'm not putting him on the spot. Brian,
It's a little early for Father's Day, but I got to bring my old man in here.
Oh, yeah, let's put him out. What's his name?
His name's Jack.
Jack, get in there. Just say hi.
Say hello.
Hello.
Jack, is this what you expected for, a radio show?
I didn't expect so much fun.
Aw, that's what I'm talking about.
I wouldn't come here if it wasn't fun.
I know, we're trying.
I only do awesome stuff. So,
I know,
yeah.
that's what we're trying to do.
I know.
Unscripted, raw. That's what I like. Okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I like when everybody comes. I go, "What are you going to talk about?" I don't know. I love that. I love that we don't know what we're going to talk about.
Right.
And it always works.
It works.
That's it. And Dr. D says, "Don't worry about it."
It's magic. Magic
It
at the
is
moment.
a magic show. All right, we've got a magic doctor here in the house right now. I didn't even know that there was an ND. I knew DO from Dr. Andrea. Okay, I know an MD, of course. I don't like those people. No, I'm sorry. I have a lot of friends that are MDs, but I like the whole DO ND thing right now. Okay.
When I was a kid in Pennsylvania, I think we would call you a naturopath. Is that correct? Is that the same?
Yeah.
It's very similar. Now there is a distinction. One holds a doctorate in that kind of medicine and is licensed according to a licensing board. And then naturopaths can go through a certification program.
Nice.
But the treatments we utilize are generally the same.
Well, I think it's awesome. How do we get a hold of you, Dr. Carroll?
So you can find me on Twitter at Dr. Jessie Carroll. It's 2 R's, 2 L's. And also I'm on Instagram, Dr. Jessie ND. And you guys here in Santa Barbara or anywhere, close by, actually, you can just give me a call. 805-698-9559.
I'm the only one writing your phone number down.
And I'd be happy to talk to you.
Repeat the digits one last time. I dare say you might have cut off the last bit.
I'm so excited.
It's 805-698-9559.
I like it.
There you go.
The nice thing when I work with Juli Shulem and someone who's ADD or ADHD, so many times they have been recommended to take a drug. And I know that Juli has actually done a lot of research on natural things that people can do so that their brains work easier.
Yeah, a lot of my clients actually come to me because they don't want to be on medication and they want alternative ways to be able to manage their ADHD without having to take medication. So, do you have ways that you actually utilize?
And I actually spent a lot of time working with kids who had a diagnosis or not of ADHD, and we could really help them out. A lot of the times these kids who were really wired first thing in the morning, it was because they were hungry.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they
amazing
were
what food can do.
shaky, and then they wanted to run around.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
to know.
Give him some cereal.
Well, it's the same thing when
Eat.
When I start with the first thing we work on is diet, exercise, and sleep. Those are the foundation components. If you do not have those things working correctly, your day's not going to go so well.
That's exactly.
I don't get ADHD or not, but particularly for ADHD. And so exactly.
Yeah,
so
those
I
really
totally
are
understand what
the
you do.
foundations to health. And like you said, if those aren't in place, nothing else you're going to do is going to work as well as it could.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yes, this is exactly what I share. And the moms are always so excited when I'm working with their teens, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to get them to actually go to sleep on time and eat properly." I said, "Yeah, that's the goal." And they're like, "Yes, because I can't."
That's the interesting thing. The parents, yeah.
Oh, they're all like, "Oh, great! I'm glad you're doing it because they're not listening to me
I
at
can't
all."
do it, so maybe they can.
No, it's great. I mean, and especially when they're on their own in college, all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, I remember my mom telling me that stuff. I now need to do it." So,
a really powerful phrase here is food as medicine. And I think recognizing that our herbs and the food that we eat actually are very, very powerful, sometimes psychoactive, have a powerful influence on our endocrine system and the hormones we produce, our moods. I mean, it can't be underplayed here how critical this we call it, the foundation diet. It sounds almost trite. It's like drink water or breathe. But if people aren't doing this...
Yeah, people forget to do those things.
Well, and you have to plan to do that. A lot of the thing is, problems that they have is like, well, I don't have time
to breathe.
Yeah,
Come now,
exactly, right?
First food choice these days is convenience, not price, not health, but convenience.
Exactly. And if you schedule and learn how to set up your menus, I was just working with a student yesterday. Same thing. Okay, how can you eat better? He says, I've been eating so badly lately, and it's really having a problem, causing a problem for me. It's okay. Well, let's work on some menus and then make the shopping list. Then go get the food, have the food in your house. You'll be more inclined to eat it that way.
A real practical principle is that we get what we put our focus on. And if we actually pause, take a little time to create a good meal plan for ourselves, to have some thought rather than just convenience for what we put into our bodies, we're investing in ourselves. We're drawing the energy into this thing. It's a priority, and then we get the results on account of that.
I have 5 children, and what I've done for them, there's a website called The Well Vegan, because I raised my children vegetarian, and I wanted them to have a balanced diet. So I share with them recipes and a menu plan every week. I send them an email and I say, hey, if you haven't figured out your week, here's something that you can use to base it on.
Oh, that's
good
so
mom.
what a good mom.
Who does that?
Mommy award.
Some microwave frozen meals. You see you later.
Can I get on that list? 6, you won't know.
I don't be like you.
Nice.
Well, people, I just want to really emphasize this is a wonderful new practitioner and re-addition to the Santa Barbara community. Please give her a shout out.
Yeah,
Jessie Carroll.
Welcome. We got to roll it out, but Julie, give your contact information. Dr. Carroll, one more time, contest. Everybody go around the room real fast. We got a minute.
Go ahead, you first.
Okay, so you can reach me, Jessie Carroll, on Twitter at Dr. Jessie Carroll. It's JessieCarroll. And then I'm also on Instagram, Dr. Jessie ND. And also feel free to just give me a call, 805-698-9559.
Julie.
And I'm on my website is Coach Juli, and that's JULI.com. I'm on Twitter, ADHD Coach Juli, Facebook Coach Juli, and just Google Coach Juli. You'll find me anywhere. I'm pretty easy to find.
Thank you, everybody. We got Brian, Dr. Scott, we had Dominique, Dr. D, and of course Josie McCoy and guest Charlie Fling. It's it. We've got to go. It's go time. See you next week. God bless Santa Barbara.
Please tune in and join us next Tuesday at KZSB AM 1290 at 9:06 a.m. when we will go behind the scenes with the local students, athletes, coaches, parents, volunteers, and all other teen sports supporters. This is all brought to you by ePro Insurance Agency, leader in gift planning and wealth preservation since 1983. So please follow along and support our student athletes by reading the Santa Barbara News Press, and then join me, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen, Dr. Dugan, my co-host, friends, teens, every week on the Santa Barbara News Press radio station.
You're the best around.